HOA tried claiming my private road. I built a giant gate and dragged them into court. Imagine an HOA attempting to seize your private road, crucial for your livelihood, and then escalating their demands when you resist. How far would you go to defend what's rightfully yours and ensure justice is served? The rumble of my heavy-duty truck over the gravel of Whisper Creek Pass was the sound of my daily grind. This private road, winding through dense forest and past a babbling creek, was my lifeline. It led directly to my secluded workshop, the Timber Forge, where I, Marcus Mack Stone, a master custom furniture maker, crafted bespoke pieces from reclaimed wood. My property, encompassing ancient timberland, was vast and clearly defined by hand-built stone markers and robust, weathered fencing. Whisper Creek Pass, though used by me and a few local loggers by easement, was undeniably private. Then came Karen, not with a friendly wave, but with a sleek, polished SUV and an air of absolute authority. I was loading a massive oak slab onto my trailer when a vehicle, emblazoned with the Serenity Shores Community Association logo, pulled up, its expensive tires crunching on my gravel. Out stepped a woman in a designer hiking outfit, clutching a clipboard and radiating an aura of entitled disdain. This was Brenda Albright, the notoriously aggressive president of the Serenity Shores Community Association, a burgeoning luxury development that had recently expanded, pushing its boundaries right up to the start of Whisper Creek Pass. "Mr. Stone," Brenda shrieked, her voice echoing unnaturally loud in the quiet woods. "This road is a direct violation of Serenity Shores' exclusive access and aesthetic harmony covenants. It's a public nuisance, generating dust and noise, and your logging trucks are an absolute eyesore. Furthermore, your primitive workshop and the rustic nature of this area are detracting from the pristine, manicured ambience of our community. This pass is now designated as Serenity Shores Private Access Road, intended for our residents' exclusive recreational use. I demand you immediately cease all commercial operations, remove your equipment, and dismantle this unsightly road, or face escalating fines and immediate legal action. We will make your existence utterly miserable until you comply." She held up a thick binder, tapping a manicured finger against a highlighted section. The main conflict, audacious and utterly infuriating, was laid bare. Brenda, a predatory HOA president, was attempting to unilaterally seize my private road, crucial for my livelihood, fabricating claims of community jurisdiction and aesthetic violations. Her demands were not only ludicrous but rooted in a profound sense of entitlement and a pathological need for control, treating my property and my established business as a personal affront to her rigid, prejudiced vision of suburban luxury. Her attitude was one of blatant contempt, believing her personal preferences granted her the right to intrude, dictate, and impose rules on sovereign land, completely ignoring my established legal rights and the critical nature of my access. I stared at her, then at the vast, wild expanse of my property. "Ms. Albright," I said, my voice low and steady, trying to control the tremor of fury that ran through me. "This road, Whisper Creek Pass, is private. It's been private for over 80 years, legally established as part of my property. Your HOA has no legal authority, nor any jurisdiction whatsoever, over my land or my road. Your exclusive access is a fantasy, and any attempt to interfere with my business or trespass on this road will be met with the full force of the law. I suggest you turn around, take your Serenity Shores delusions, and leave my property immediately." I even held up my original land deed and a copy of the recorded survey map. Brenda, however, merely scoffed, waving a dismissive hand. "Nonsense, Mr. Stone. Your old papers mean nothing compared to our newly established community covenants and our aggressive legal team. We have influential connections, and we've already secured preliminary approvals for road reclassification. Consider this your only warning. When our community beautification crews arrive tomorrow, if this pass is still operational, they will be repurposed for pedestrian use. And trust me, you won't like the fees." Her tone was chillingly arrogant, her eyes holding a glint of perverse pleasure, as if she reveled in her perceived power to command authorities. I spent that night making calls, not just to my lawyer, but to local contractors. The next morning, As threatened, Brenda returned. This time, she wasn't alone. She had a full landscaping crew with heavy machinery, a contingent of armed private security guards, and 2 large buses filled with curious Serenity Shores residents, ready to witness the beautification. Then, Brenda's audacity escalated into a direct, shocking act of physical destruction and economic sabotage. While her security guards formed a menacing line, Brenda pointed to the ancient, robust bridge that spanned Whisper Creek, the only practical way for my heavy trucks to access the timber forge. "Demolish that dilapidated bridge," she shrieked. "It's a structural hazard to our residents." A landscaping crew member, clearly uncomfortable but following orders, hesitantly approached the bridge. With a sickening groan, he slammed a small excavator bucket into the bridge's main support beam, causing the timbers to splinter and crack ominously, making it completely impassable for vehicles. Then, as I watched in horror, Brenda directed her crew to begin laying down decorative cobblestones and planting ornate flower beds directly in the middle of my gravel road, effectively blocking any vehicle access and turning my vital access route into a pedestrian walkway. It was a calculated, malicious act designed to cripple my business, destroy critical infrastructure, and cut off my only practical means of income, demonstrating her willingness to cause widespread and irreversible financial damage for her selfish agenda. Right after Brenda's act of destruction and brazen economic sabotage, a crucial twist unfolded from an unexpected source. The larger consequence of Brenda's actions became terrifyingly clear. Whisper Creek Pass wasn't just my access road. It was the sole emergency access route for the entire northern section of the county's wildfire response unit, a critical artery during the annual wildfire season. Her deliberate destruction of the bridge, combined with the obstruction of the road and the attempted fraudulent land seizure, wasn't just a petty act of malice. It directly jeopardized public safety, undermined vital emergency services, and risked widespread devastation in the event of a forest fire. Her petty vendetta had escalated into a direct assault on both public safety and crucial regional infrastructure, elevating her personal malice to a matter of profound civic and ethical significance. Armed with Guardian Eye's irrefutable video footage, including the historical land use bribery, the furious county fire chief, and my own burning desire for justice, I was done being subtle. As the county sheriff's deputies and state troopers finally arrived to deal with the chaos, Brenda was in full performance mode, loudly complaining about my obstruction and primitive operations. "Officers, he's resisting. His road is a hazard to our peaceful community." "Actually, Ms. Albright," I retorted, my voice cutting through her bluster, amplified by the news cameras that had just pulled up, having been tipped off by the fire chief. "Your community access is about to become an arrest for felony vandalism, destruction of critical infrastructure, obstruction of emergency services, and criminal conspiracy to commit public corruption and fraud." I then projected Guardian Eye's real-time video footage onto a large, portable screen for the officers, troopers, and the news crew. The footage clearly depicted Brenda's malicious actions, the bridge destruction, the road obstruction, and the damning audio of her explicitly stating her plan for bribery and fraudulent land records. The officers looked aghast, and the assembled news crew gasped. Brenda's face went from smug confidence to utter, absolute terror, her jaw hanging slack as the gravity of the situation and the unexpected legal twist dawned on her. No, that's impossible. That's a trick. That camera is illegal. He's lying," she shrieked, desperately trying to manipulate the situation, her voice shrill and breaking. She started pointing fingers, trying to blame Guardian Eye, me, anyone but herself, her eyes wide with unadulterated fear. Just as her pathetic denials reached their peak, the silence was shattered by the distinct wail of additional sirens. More state trooper vehicles, but also a sleek black SUV marked FBI, Public Corruption Unit, pulled up. Out of the lead vehicle stepped a grim-faced federal agent, followed by a representative from the Department of Homeland Security, Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, and the furious county fire chief. The FEMA representative spoke first, his voice cold and cutting. "Ms. Albright, your actions have directly impacted a critical emergency response corridor and jeopardized public safety during a known wildfire season. This is a severe federal offense, carrying significant prison time. The FBI special agent stepped forward. And Ms. Albright, we've also been investigating reports of widespread fraudulent land acquisition schemes and public corruption within the Serenity Shores Community Association, specifically regarding the illegal acquisition of adjacent private properties and the diversion of HOA funds to shell corporations ostensibly for community beautification projects that never materialized. Your documented acts of felony vandalism, destruction of critical infrastructure, obstruction of emergency services, and conspiracy to commit public corruption and fraud align perfectly with these ongoing investigations. Furthermore, we have evidence of significant sums of HOA funds being diverted to offshore accounts linked to your shell corporations, ostensibly for development projects that never materialized, and a history of utilizing aggressive tactics to target independent landowners for illicit acquisition and harassment. A nervous murmur rippled through the gathered Serenity Shores residents, who had followed the commotion, as one stammered to the FBI agent. She told us the beautification fees were for our new private golf course extension. We had no idea the money was being sent to her sister's consulting firm in the Cayman Islands. It was a chilling revelation. Brenda wasn't just a busybody. She was a criminal mastermind, systematically defrauding her own members, attempting to seize valuable infrastructure, and committing serious public safety crimes for massive personal profit, with the community access claims merely a cover for her grand scheme. A past incident, whispered among her former colleagues, revealed that Brenda had been previously disbarred from a regional planning commission for systematic abuse of zoning laws for personal gain. The consequences for Brenda Albright were immediate and utterly devastating. She was arrested by federal and local authorities on multiple charges, including federal offenses for bribery, environmental crimes, conspiracy to commit fraud, felony vandalism, obstruction of emergency services, and later, as the full extent of the fraud was uncovered, for massive embezzlement, wire fraud, and racketeering. The Serenity Shores Community Association was placed under immediate federal oversight, its assets frozen, and a full forensic audit exposed tens of millions in stolen funds, a systematic scheme orchestrated by Brenda and her network. Her carefully cultivated image as the benevolent community leader shattered into irreparable pieces. The HOA residents she had once intimidated and defrauded now turned on her, furious at being manipulated and exploited, their HOA funds stolen, and their properties facing legal and environmental liabilities due to her criminal actions. Her social circles, built on an illusion of wealth and influence, abandoned her completely, unwilling to be associated with such public disgrace. Her vast real estate holdings, her fortune, her status, her perceived power all confiscated as part of the ongoing investigation and subsequent lawsuits. She lost everything: her freedom, her fortune, and her reputation. The ultimate irony was that her audacious attempt to seize my private road led to the complete unraveling of her vast, illegal enterprise, culminating in a lengthy federal prison sentence. As for Whisper Creek Pass, it was fully repaired and strengthened, now a symbol of resilience. The timber forge flourished, and my business, now famous for its role in exposing a criminal and protecting vital public safety, became a beacon of independent craftsmanship. And yes, I did build a giant gate. A truly massive, custom-built gate of solid oak and forged steel, stretching across the entire width of Whisper Creek Pass, adorned with a sign that reads, "Private property, and no trespassing. Violators will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law." This includes HOAs. A permanent, silent monument to a battle won. What's your take on this? When someone so brazenly abuses power, commits felony vandalism, destroys critical public safety infrastructure, attempts bribery to seize vital land, and defrauds an entire community, does their complete and utter downfall, even to federal prison, truly serve justice? Or is there a point where the consequences become too extreme?